A very warm welcome to all of you. For the past few years, we have been hearing about India's ambition of reaching its GDP goal of 5 trillion by 2025. India's startups are playing a crucial role in achieving the goal. Since 2014, our startups have collectively raised $50 billion across more than 3,700 deals. And while we celebrate these achievements, we can't overlook the Soonicorns, waiting in the wings, the future unicorns, the ones who will continue to drive our growth. In tune with our TechSparks 2021 theme of What's Next, Rethinking the Future, we are going to take a sneak peek into what's next for India's growing Soonicorns list, but with a twist. We are going to see the sector through the lens of an industry leader and a partner in growth for enterprises. He and his team has been diligently working on solutions to help startups, including launching an unusual program for hyper-growth startups and Soonicorns. Please welcome Kulmeet Bawa, MD and President, SAP India Subcontinent, who will be joining me to discuss today's topic, the Nakshatras of the Indian economy. Kulmeet, I want to jump straight into my first question. You know, you've been involved with startups and in various capacities, in various ways. India this year, if all goes well, we will end the year with 100 unicorns this year itself. It's huge for the country. But as the companies are scaling so fast, what would you say? What are the challenges and what are the things that one needs to consider?
I just feel that there is no better time for anyone to be an entrepreneur in India than now, right? And it's it's a matter of pride for all of us to see, now we are the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. The pace of growth that we are seeing, that in itself is accelerating like never before. I believe we've got 33 unicorns out of your 100 that you were mentioning in this year itself, which is phenomenal, right? And on a lighter note, perhaps there are a couple of funding rounds that are going to close out before we end our conversation today. So that's the pace that we are seeing, and I'm really bullish. Like you said, I've had I've always been fascinated by startups, by just the energy, the passion, and the manner in which dreams start getting translated into reality. And today we've got those. We've got those great IPO stories around us, with some successful listings and several others in the pipeline as we move. Massive amount of funding, liquidity all over, especially early stage investments. So I'm amazed, Shraddha, at the manner in which angels and micro funds and VCs also are coming in with seed capital. So to me, it's a very, very exciting time. Just to repeat on to put this in context, and I feel that this is all it's a combination of 3 or 4 things that we are seeing, Shraddha, and I'll come to the challenges that you were asking me about. But number one is the whole entrepreneurial culture. So the culture that we are building in our country is phenomenal, very, very entrepreneurial, especially with the Gen Zs and not just the millennials, even with the Gen Zs, and I see that up close. There's a massive talent pool that we have. The consumer market, the domestic consumer market is unparalleled perhaps, and now add to it that whole elusiveness of the economy or the economic environment. And I guess that's what's got us to the cusp of this very exciting time today, right? And I look at it as an unprecedented opportunity for India with a lot of possibility going ahead. To your point, yes, this does come in with definitely with some challenges. And if I was to rattle off some of the top ones that we are seeing through our lens as SAP, right? So the first piece there, Shraddha, is there needs to be a lot of investment, continued investment into operations, because the pace at which these startups are growing now, if they continue to expand at that pace that we are witnessing today, the amount of operational data that is going to flood these organizations, right, is going to be exponential. And hence they will need the real-time visibility into, just business intelligence, just the insights that we talk about. And we've seen this in the past, that limited investments into, operations or digital operations sometimes prove to be a bottleneck when organizations become larger. So therefore, number one, definitely there's a need to invest into a very solid, what in our parlance we call a digital core, right? That can actually offer cross-functional visibility, not just for the present, but also for when the startup or when the digital native becomes big and needs to maneuver or innovate further. So that's point one. Point two, something again very close to my heart, and I see it so closely all the time, Shraddha, is the whole bit around talent, right? Talent acquisition and management, because again, because of the expansion that we are seeing, I think there's a massive demand for manpower, right? With new age digital skills, whether it is product design or development or analytics or data science or digital marketing, we're seeing a plethora of that requests and requirements coming in. So there will be a shortage of talent at some stage, undoubtedly. And then not just acquiring talent, but how do you manage that talent? How do you retain that talent? How do you give them that aha moment, right? And for that, you will need a lot more of investment into human experience design, right? As we call it, much more than what we are seeing today, because that's going to be the differentiator for organizations as we move on. So that's the second. And third, of course, I talk about it all the time, but we are living in a networked economy, Shraddha, and for many startups, especially if you look at the B2B space, the SaaS companies, enterprise SaaS companies, and we are seeing a lot of that in India, right? With some of the recent IPOs. But I guess it's super important for them to be part of a larger business network, right? So that they get access to a global supply demand ecosystem. So that's the third piece that comes into my mind. But overall, extremely bullish and extremely excited to witness what we are seeing around us.
Gurmeet, thank you so much. So 3 things for everyone we're picking up is what you're saying is look at the digital core very, very closely. You need to have a solid digital core. You said talent, and then how do you look at talent, and the experience around the experience design around the talent is going to be extremely critical, and network, access to network and global supply chain. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Gurmeet, now that brings me to my second question, but I have to congratulate you. This is 25 years of SAP's inception in India, and in 25 years, last 25 years for India has been so significant, and I want to understand, and this is for all of us, what has it meant for SAP here in the country?
This is a big year for us at SAP India. We are very proud of everything that we've accomplished in the last 2.5 decades. But thank you for the good wishes. And, just to set the context again, India is today, SAP India, SAP in India today is the second largest establishment for us globally. So outside of Waldorf, we've got about 14,000 people. So we have in the country, Shraddha, with some amazing innovation and intellectual property that gets built out of India. So that's the first piece. And, like you mentioned, from an India standpoint, and, I'm a diehard patriot, and I'm extremely bullish about everything, Shraddha, if you've not already caught that. But I just think that the last 25 years have been clearly destiny defining for India as a nation, as a country, right? So it's been an amazing period during which India has rewritten her future. And we've seen transformational growth across almost every single socio-economic parameter, factor, whatever you want to call it, right? Now, from an SAP perspective, and we've been privileged, we've been blessed. I think we've had the luxury or the privilege of partnering intrinsically in this growth story, or this incredible growth story of India. And let me give you some examples very quickly, right, on the role we've played. So if you look at the utility sector, right, from being a land of power cuts, when we were growing up, I think it was clearly a land of power cuts. Today, India's become a power generation surplus economy, right? And the third largest world's producer of electricity. And SAP, as a company, we are proud to partner with most of the majority of the generation and distribution companies in India, both private and public sector, which is phenomenal for us, right? And our support today, if I was to give you a number, it's more than 50 million households, right? Our consumers of gas and electricity is what we support at SAP. Look at automotive, right? Again, I remember the time when there were 2 brands of cars in India, maybe 3, I forget, but just a couple of brands of cars, right? And from there till today, 25 years, India is the 4th largest automotive market. And from an SAP perspective, again, I think we've grown with the country, Shraddha. And we've been strategic, and today we work with almost all the automotive majors in India, both in the conventional as well as the new the electric mobility space that we are seeing. And 8 out of 10 cars today that are sold in India, and these are stats that we've actually gathered, right? 8 out of the 10 cars are manufactured by companies that run SAP today. So again, we are proud of this. Look at the same thing, and I won't go on, but look at oil and gas, right? Again, this is super important for us. It's a bastion of SAP, if I could call it that. And today, our solutions are helping all the 20 oil refineries in India to manage their crude oil production, Shraddha. And the good part here in the oil and gas, as well as some of the other segments, is we've always been known to be a back office company, the ERP, best of breed, the world's best, etc. But today we've also expanded mega into the front office, like we have in the ONG companies and their consumer-facing companies. So we've got similar stories in the education, which is, again, I talked about skilling, in telecom, in railways, across the gamut of India's growth. I think SAP is partnered very closely. And, so Shraddha, if India's grown about 10x and where we are today in the last 25 years, as a country, India's lifted millions of people out of poverty, right? And I just feel privileged and humbled to say that a very large part of India's GDP today, more than 60% to be fair, touches an SAP system. And we are seeing how to grow that, right? So we take a lot of pride in what we've done so far, but are definitely ready for the next leg of this voyage that India is on to.
Today, I want to ask you at TechSparks that you are going to launch something interesting for the digital native startups, and want to hear from you. What is it? What is the program that you're launching?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to go long on this one, but I'll give you a sneak peek and a purview of it. So, over the ages, when we grew up, we read about nakshatras and constellations and how they played a very, very important role in guiding the traveler or the wayfarer, if I could call it, or the gypsies, right, to their destination. So taking inspiration from that, good or bad, Shraddha, I'm proud to announce Project Nakshatra. So that's the program that we've launched for India, which will help propel our startup ecosystem, to further contribute towards our country's aspiration. And you talked about, we definitely want to become an economic superpower, or the world's biggest economic power. So it's Project Nakshatra is the name we've given it. And, this program is going to be helping, number one, it's going to help startups and digital natives prepare for hyper growth that I was talking about initially, to help them build products for scale. And lastly, how do they go global, right? And again, I touched upon that. So look at it as two broad pillars as part of this program, Shraddha. Number one, how does this Project Nakshatra become a technology enabler for these hypergrowth startups? So, just given the pace that we are seeing, the pace at which startups are growing, a lot of them today, or some of them today, are taking as little as 18 months, 2 years, 3 years to become unicorns, right?
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But, we want to, from an SAP perspective through this program, we want to make this journey seamless for startups by enabling businesses not only to manage their day-to-day operations seamlessly, but also to have that ability to innovate and, like I said, to jockey and to leapfrog as they grow up, as they become larger, as they get into the future. And to that effect, we've come up with some tailor-made, bite-sized packages for this startup community, keeping in mind the changing landscape. And all our offerings today are cloud native. So our cloud native offerings can allow the startups to have a very modular approach to their scale, right, based on their appetite and how they want to scale and grow. And we've invested in teams, we've invested in processes to serve this segment already, not only to, and I just want to be clear, not only to get these solutions positioned with the startups, but also to help them ensure adoption, to ensure utilization, value realization, which is where the aha moment or the maximum benefits are derived. So that's the first pillar. And the second pillar, and I talked about it, is the whole pillar around co-innovation for startups. So we've been doing this for a while. We are now giving it an added impetus. And like I mentioned, the B2B SaaS companies, enterprise SaaS companies, I think we've got a great story going on there, Shraddha. And I'm sure you know it better than a lot of us. But to me, it seems like a real transformational opportunity for India, probably or bigger than what the ITS opportunity was a few years back. But again, like I mentioned, the success of these businesses will lie in creating global markets for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Especially US and Europe, sitting out of India. And this is where I think SAP's deep industry partnering expertise with a huge customer base, can help because, and we are happy to open up a lot of our laurels over the years for the startup community to help them forge different partnership or commercial models so that it's a win-win for everyone. But in essence, yes, Nakshatra has been launched with the intent that we definitely want to become a long-term partner of choice for Indian startups, like we've done with most of the other segments in the last 25 years, Shraddha.
Yeah. Kulmeet, I was speaking to Girish Matrabhutam. Freshworks got an IPO in NASDAQ, and we were just discussing that India's Roger Bannister moment has come, right? Like now we will see a lot many SaaS and enterprise startups going global, and brings me to the question that what gives you complete strong confidence that this program that you're launching will succeed and enable startups?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? But let me put it in context. So this is not new for us. While we are making it sound new, Shraddha, right? New program, Project Nakshatra. It's not new for us because today, and let me give you a flavor of this. So we've got about 13,000 plus customers in India, out of which 80% of them are small and mid-sized customers, right? So we are used to working with smaller organizations like we are used to, and the impression of the large enterprises, which of course we are super at. Right. So I think while we lead in this space, the intent with this program was more on how do we further adapt, or how do we adapt even further to meet the need of the hour and to fortify our leadership. If I could use my old jargon from my earlier life, right? So how do we fortify our leadership? And to answer your point, what gives us the confidence? I guess. I could go on for 1 hour on this because I'm extremely passionate about what we are doing at SAP. But the top 2 or 3 competitive advantages or differentiators we have today, Shraddha. Number one, if you go back to our legacy, today we are serving more than, I think it's about 450,000 customers globally across 26 industries, which is phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
And there are tremendous insights and there are industry-specific expertise that we bring to the table. So SAP knows how to scale, right? We understand what it means to take a business global. We understand what it means to arm that business for robustness as well as agility. So that's point number one, right? So I think we've done it. We understand how to do it, and also to my earlier point on automotives and mobility, electric vehicles. We've also been involved in the last 5 decades since our inception, almost 5 decades, rather. Next year we celebrate 50 years. But, we've also seen businesses transform in these last 5 decades, and not just seen as a bystander, but I think we've been intrinsically involved in some of the world's biggest game-changing disruptions. So that's the first confidence building measure, CBM, if I could call it that. Second, of course, is I'm about 15 months old at SAP, post my Adobe stint and my startup stint. But I just think that when I look at SAP, we've got the most comprehensive set of offerings today out there in the marketplace, right? And like I said, both for the back office and the front office. So we look at end-to-end processes today. We can help companies differentiate through the experiences that they provide, right? Through the personalization, the individualization, built on a true customer 360, as I call it. And as you would know, Shraddha, with all the companies you work with in the startup, everything in the digital economy today is an experience economy, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about experiences, ubiquitous, mesmerizing, magical experiences that companies need to provide their customers in turn. And I think we are very well positioned for that. And lastly, and I just want to call it out, Shraddha, we ourselves as SAP have transformed into a cloud company, right? So from an on-prem solution provider to one of the largest cloud companies in the enterprise application space today in the world, right? And hence we understand how to adapt to new market conditions, right? We understand how to build or create new business models. And today our offerings are more affordable. They're available on a subscription basis. Like I said, we've turned into a true blue cloud company. And this is, irrespective of whether it is our digital core offering, and we call it the Rise with SAP today, or whether it is any of the lines of businesses that we have, whether it's intelligence spend, whether it's travel, expense, experience management, customer experience, all of them are today's subscription offerings, bite-sized, affordable, and we are seeing a massive traction in India, Shraddha, already. In the last 3 or 4 quarters, we've seen a massive traction with a momentum like never before. And just to close out, we are already working with a lot of the startups, not as much as we would want to, but I think we will correct that soon with the launch of this program. But we are helping, lay the digital core for one of the leading electric scooter manufacturing companies. No point for guessing who, but we're partnering for growth with one of the largest online pharma companies in India today. We are powering growth for a how do I term it, for a sleep solution company, right? For a company that provides ubiquitous sleep. So we are already in it. We are only trying to see how we raise the bar, Shraddha.
What are you seeing now that you are so closely supporting and enabling startups? What are some of the things that you're noticing when it comes to the Indian startup ecosystem? And what advice would you give to everyone today watching you, listening to you? What would you like to tell, and especially to entrepreneurs and startups who want to become nakshatras?
Again, I know even if I try and stub it, my passion comes out always, Shraddha. I think India is so well poised to lead this decade, and it's almost growth is on steroids, and the combined and the statistics better, but the combined valuation of unicorns today, they tell me, is about 7% of the market cap of our BSE, and this is prophesized to be in high double digits by the time we hit 2030, the end of the decade. There's been what we are seeing is that there's been a meteoric, and I touched upon this, rise in the entrepreneurial culture. Especially in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. And I think it was one of your articles, Shraddha. I think it was your story. Was it a research where I read that in the last 5 or 6 years, tier 2 or 3, there's more than $1 billion, 1.1 billion or something in funding across just the tier 2, tier 3 cities. So I think we are sitting very pretty there. And as we've been speaking, very, very bullish. And as we see more unicorns and more IPOs, I just think that the quest for growth or for future growth, right, will be coupled by making a bigger difference to the country, to the nation, right, using levers of either nation building or using levers of sustainability, which again, we are seeing a massive adoption of everywhere, Shraddha. And these are core business imperatives in today's time. And I think, SAP, as well as the startups or the digital natives in the country today, I think we have a chance to lead the way here, right? And to set an example, not just for India as a country, but for the world. Look at it to your second piece on advice for startups. I think the first piece is what I've already, Shraddha, that prepare for growth, prepare for scale, because it's coming onto you faster than you can imagine. And it should not happen in a knee-jerk manner, right? Because that won't be good. And so adopt a robust digital core as the heart of your startup, right? As the heart and the soul of your startup. Keep an eye on the future. because you will be scaling exponentially. So get the building blocks right so that when you want to build a holistic, intelligent enterprise, once you're big, once you're a unicorn, you don't have to get back to the drawing board, right? So think of all the building blocks today, get the core in place, think of sustainability, like I mentioned, think of supply chain, think of the people. We talked about that. So get the fabric embedded into the organization, think of customer experience, think of intelligent spend, look at all those aspects rather than, tactical, immediate gratification. So that's point one. My second piece of advice may be more around the mindset, and I'm infamous for saying this, right? You need to have an exponential mindset. So anything incremental is boring, it's passé, right? And I think the Indian startup ecosystem is showing that. But look into the future. If today we are looking at commerce, e-commerce, and consumer businesses and consumer startups and funding going in, I'm already starting to see a lot more on healthcare, around gaming, around mobility, EV, agri-tech. Fantastic, right? And so the question that comes into my head is, why are we not already investing? Maybe we are into deep tech, right? Are we investing into space? Are we investing into crypto? Are we investing into reverse aging? One of the big fads I have, right? So that India actually starts to lead in parallel on those fronts, right? To build something. And I know we may be ahead of our time. It's too early, Kulmeet. Let's first monetize, but somewhere we need to lead the pack on that. And as I end and pass over back to you, Shraddha, but I just think we have a huge advantage as a country today with our youth population, whatever the stats, right? Below 30, below 25, whichever way you look at it. It's a competitive advantage that is unparalleled. So no country in the world can ever emulate us. We are so far ahead, right? So let's make the most of that. And my last piece is that, along with that is that, and that's people, right? So for startups, so what's the culture that you're creating with those people, right? That is, I think, going to become the biggest differentiator for companies, for digital natives as they move on. That's probably going to be the only strategy, right? While we can give fantastic vision statements, etc. But I'm a big fan that if you have the culture set, if you have the culture right, that becomes your biggest competitive advantage as you move on, Shraddha.
Today, while talking to you, and I have to call this out, and everyone listening will agree to me that you make us super energized and you gave such amazing and real inputs that it feels good to be talking and having a leader like you in the enterprise, India's enterprise story. Yeah, thank you so much, Kulmeet. This was very, very informative and very useful, and of course, very passionate session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shraddha. Thanks for the time. I enjoyed myself. Thank you, and all the best to all the startups out there.
For ages, nakshatras have been a guiding light for explorers in discovering new worlds. Inspired by shining stars, SAP is proud to launch Project Nakshatra, designed to supercharge innovators and aspiring unicorns to go global with hypergrowth and building products at scale, supported with proactive mentorship from a community of experts and business leaders. Gain cross-function operational visibility today with the agility to innovate and grow at scale tomorrow. Guiding innovators, empowering enterprises.